Another peaceful day, isn't it, Poochie? Woof!
Hello everyone, I'm Runaspizin, and this is Mr. Driller 2.
Huh? Woof?
And I would love to describe the game, but it seems that there's some kind of crisis happening, so we've got to pay attention to the story first. If this kind of thing was actually happening all over the world, I would like to think that I would be one of the best people to call. Oh man, we're being attacked by colored blocks.
What did he say?
I know 20 different kinds of anti-colored block fighting. I have not just trained for this, I have trained for this in like 30 different video games. That would be me, dressing up in that ridiculous suit and heading out. Also, the dog can talk.
Wait a minute. Keep out of it, will you? Who are you?
And also, in Mr. Driller 2, there's a Mrs. Mr. Driller. Or Ms, I guess. Not like I've got any idea. Anyway, where was I? Ah, yes! Mr. Driller 2. So, Mr. Driller is a series of games where you go through colored blocks as a little character instead of, like, the hand of God arranging them into sets of 4 or whatever. It's a game where maybe just playing through it quickly will explain it a little bit better than trying to explain it myself. So I can drill in any direction, up, down, left, right. And you can see on the right side of the screen that my air is gradually going down. But if I pick up this air canister here, it goes up again by about 20-ish. So I can grab this one as well, and then get out of the way of that falling block. Whenever I drill through a block, any colored blocks that are attached to it also go away. So if I drill this red one on the left, then it kind of gets rid of that red one underneath it too. And you can see that every time I drill blocks, it kind of shakes everything above it to give me a second to react to, well, do I need to move, or do I need to, like, climb up this one here? Because the thing is, if I ever get crushed by any of these falling blocks, like those blue ones... Actually, no, they didn't. Well, there's plenty to explain, I suppose. If I ever get crushed by any of these falling blocks, then I instantly die, and I lose one of my 3 lives. Running out of air is also very bad. That'll cost a life as well. So I need to be very careful about what I drill and where I land, or where I stand, I mean. If 4 blocks of the same color ever touch each other, well, you can see that these red ones seem to just be doing fine. But that's because they're at rest. If a bunch of blocks fall and then land in a spot where 4 or more of the same color are touching, like... let's see if I can cause these yellow ones to disappear. They disappear like that. And you can see it can cause these weird cascades. Currently there's nothing above me, so I feel fairly safe standing here, but if I was down in the middle of all of that, that would have been quite the problem to deal with. Your character is fairly fast, and the blocks falling are fairly slow. So generally you have enough time to do quite a lot before you get crushed, but you need to be thinking quickly. Alright, now that I've explained a lot of the mechanics, let's pick up the pace a little bit. One thing I like to do whenever I change columns... Well, there isn't a good opportunity to show it off right now, but... Let's see... So I'll change columns here. I tend to just dig above myself every time I do it, to give myself just a little bit more time to think. When the blocks start shaking... Ooh! In that case, it actually gave me a little bit less time to think. That was a silly time to do it. What was I going to say? Ah, yes. When the blocks are shaking, and then you dig above yourself like that, it gives you just a little bit more time, because it resets how much time the blocks are going to shake for. So generally, if you can dig above yourself, you should, just to give yourself another second to see what's going on up there. You also need to pay attention to what's the color of the block that's most directly above you. Because there's a decent chance that it'll just match up with something, like that red one matching up with the red one to its right. But if it's a color that isn't very common, then all of a sudden you have to think, well, oh goodness, get away from me. You have to start thinking, well, am I going to run away from it? Or am I going to try to keep digging down to find another one of a different color? Well, not a different color, to find another one of the same color to match it with? I would really like that air canister on the left. I haven't missed a single one yet. Okay, that shouldn't be too difficult to dig out. Something like that. The brown blocks are special. You can't really dig them out that easily, so if you need to get rid of them, then you have to match them up with other brown blocks like that. If I try to dig through it, you can see that it starts to get more and more cracked. You can actually dig all the way through it if you do it 5 times, but there's a couple of problems with that. For starters, it's a little bit slow, so if you're in a panic and trying to desperately get down to avoid being crushed, then a brown block will slow you down quite a bit. But the other problem is that if you do manage to fully clear a brown block, it will release some kind of poisonous gas or something that kind of gets in your air system and reduces your air by about 20. So for all of these air canisters that they purposefully spawn surrounded by brown blocks, if you don't get them in a clever way and instead just try to mash through them, then what'll happen is you'll get the 20 air from the air canister, but it'll be completely cancelled out by minus 20 from going through the brown block. What you want to do with these air canisters instead is try to dig out one side like that, and then that kind of makes a little platform on the left side there. That wasn't the best way to show it off. Let's see if I can get a slightly better one. With this one, there's so many brown blocks that it actually shouldn't be too difficult to just make all the brown blocks disappear, just like that. Here we go. This one I should be able to show off the proper technique for. This is the most common way that you'll see an air canister in the late game. So what you do is, you dig like that, and then, still not quite how I was supposed to do it. But you can see that by digging all the way underneath it, but a little bit slowly, I kind of staggered it out a bit. The right side fell, and then the left side fell, which kind of turned the entire wall system into more of a platform, with the air canister just resting nicely on top of it. So you need to get underneath it and then kind of curl back around into it. It never quite works the same way twice in a row, so it does require a little bit of improvisation, but that's the basic idea for what you want to start doing. Like, you start by putting the air canister on the nice platform, like, turn the walls into a floor, and then from there, exactly what you'll do depends on, like, the exact layout of the blocks. Occasionally you'll get a level with only 2 colors like this, which is a little bit more hectic, because it means that the chance of blocks finding 3 buddies to match up with and disappearing is very high. In this kind of situation, unless you're really trying to speedrun, you should probably make sure that there's nothing above you ever, because who knows when it's going to, like, suddenly all come collapsing down, and a bunch of blocks that you had above your head that you thought were safely overhanging on something are instead now crashing down again. Now that we're at the halfway point for the America mission, the game has gotten a little bit faster. The game speed increases, or, like, okay, there's some hidden number that the game has that keeps track of how fast everything is. And when that number increases, every single part of the game gets faster. Even, like, the speed of your drilling. So you can play a little bit faster too, in addition to all the animations being faster. There we go, finally got that one. That yellow block. Yeah, it was gonna fall on my head if I didn't do something. Oh, that's a bit too dangerous. That's the kind of thing I would do in a speedrun, maybe. This one's gonna get complicated. Nope. Oh, I saw something falling, but it was fairly obviously safe if I just paid a little bit more attention. Oh, I was hoping that those 3 blocks would fall before the one, so they would match up instead of kind of falling in synchronization like that. Nope. Okay, we're fine. Nope, we're not fine. That is going to match up, so I need to do that, then climb, and then we're good. Those star rainbow blocks that sometimes appear, there's nothing too special about them. The idea is that when they show up on screen, like when you get low enough to actually see them, they disappear almost immediately. And there's nothing special to it. The only thing it's doing is it's causing cascades. Like you can see that because those rainbow blocks disappeared, the second column suddenly fell. So it just means that not only do you have to be looking above yourself to see, like, is something going to fall on my head, but you also sometimes need to be looking below yourself to make sure that the rainbow blocks aren't, suddenly causing cascades underneath you. Because of this, oh goodness, that was close. Because of this, on more difficult levels, when there are a lot of star blocks and the animations have started to play extremely quickly, it can actually be safer to try to just descend very quickly. Because the stuff above you could fall on your head at any moment, and the faster you're digging downwards, the more time you have before it crushes you, which means more time to react. That's probably the strategy I'll more go for on a harder mission. But for now, I'm just trying to play a real safe, clean game of Mr. Driller. The animations have gotten a little bit faster again. Oh goodness, that was close. I'm not sure how I'm going to get this air canister on the... Oh, okay, everything just kind of disappeared. That's exactly what you want. You go underneath it and then that happens. I didn't actually need to drill upwards there, but you could see that I was pointing upwards just in case I needed to buy myself a little bit more time. That cascade was actually quite beneficial for me. I was trying to figure out how I was going to drill out the brown blocks underneath that air canister, when all of a sudden they just disappeared. Oh goodness! Ah! I should have thought of that faster. That was the correct idea, but I didn't do it quite quickly enough. Yeah, some things were happening above me when I needed to do this kind of precise maneuver. I didn't want to do that while the right side was cascading. Oh, that's everything. I believe that should be good enough for the medal. So, you get a bonus for every extra life, a bonus for time. Oh, that's not good enough for the badge? Also, they're called badges, not medals. Alright, more story. For all that's worth, I suppose. It looks like there's some kind of factory that's making the colored blocks. Being made by the Underground King, these guys.
Who would want to come here on a vacation? Your weird blocks are taking over the world.
Taking over the world, she says. Anyway, I think I skipped a mission. Not that the story is super important, or that it's going to be particularly coherent even if you do all the missions in order. Yeah, this one's telling me to go do the hard stage instead of the normal one. Yeah, we're gonna have to go there and see him ourselves, I suppose. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, to get the driller badge on any particular stage, well, I thought the requirements were that you were only allowed to die once or 0 times, and that you have to get all the air canisters. But I guess there might be some kind of you also have to play fairly quickly. Because I definitely wasn't playing as fast as I could just then. Not the entire way through, anyway. Anyway, that's credits. Video games were kind of short 20 years ago. Well, if you're good at them anyway. It took me quite a lot of hours before I got good enough to... Oh, no one cares. We're not actually here to do this. Anyway. Let's show off something else, and then I'll try to do some harder missions. So this is time attack mode. Time attack mode kind of encourages you to figure out how to play quickly by giving you a bunch of stages where literally all you're trying to do is get to the bottom. There's no need to worry about air. But you can grab these things here to, like, take time off the timer. So it's a fairly standard time attack mode like you would see in other video games. But because it's the same maps every time, you can try to optimize them. And there's things like, if you specifically try to dig out bigger blocks, then that means that you don't need to dig as many times. Let's see if I can show off what I mean here. So I'll retry that mission. This time I'll specifically try to actually do it as optimally as I can. Oh no, I missed the yellow block. But if I purposefully try to dig the bigger ones instead of just going through the smaller ones over and over, it means that I can spend more time running and less time watching the dig animation. Like this. And like this. So just always going downwards isn't correct. Sometimes you want to start off by going sideways because there's a bigger block on the side. Yeah, I managed to shave 1.4 seconds off my time there. Oops, don't retry. Why is it retry? Or why is retry the default option, I mean? Let's see... Let's do some harder ones. And there's also stuff that, like, encourages you to figure out, like, okay, how do I survive weird moments like this? Oh, not like that, apparently. How do you do that one again? But yeah, so doing all of the time attacks is basically just a good idea. Not a good idea, sorry. A good way to, learn some of the more complicated parts of the game of, like, okay, how do I survive situations where everything's coming down on me? Do you just do that? Ah, you do just do that, right? Yeah. I didn't want that to be the answer because it seemed so simple, and I wanted to do something, like, really brave instead. Oh, okay. There's also special items in the time trials that don't really map super well to the real game. And weird situations like this that maybe you would never actually get into in a real game. Ah, not quite. Darn, that was the very last bit too. Well, I'm sure you got the gist of it. And then the last one, and then we'll go back to the real game. Let's see, where are you supposed to... I forget how you're supposed to get these things. Is it just... No, I can't remember at all. I'll just leave those brown ones behind then. Yeah, and then this just utter chaos. Oh, not quite. Alright, let's see if I can do a little better this time. I think either side works here. Yeah, it's fine. Oh wait, no it doesn't! No. I was actually clever for going the other way last time. These silver X blocks are a little bit special for time trial only. They can't be dug through no matter how hard you try. Also, instead of costing air, digging through the brown X blocks in this game mode rather, will just reduce your time. So do I do this or something? How do I get that too? I've completely forgotten. Like, you could do this to get it, but that would be so slow. And also, it would get you stuck. Yeah, plus 5 seconds. Well, if my best time is anything to go by, I'm still in it. There we go. Just a little bit faster that time. Ha! Got it. Just barely without being crushed. This is another good example of, like, the game trying to teach you that if you dig out a big block, you shouldn't waste your time digging any further, you should just go for it. If you want to get good times, anyway. Let's see, I believe to get this block here... Ah, no, because they both fall at the same time, there's nowhere to run. That flip thing would have allowed me to keep going. Whatever, it's not super important to show off a perfect run of that time trial. So now we've seen, like, the time trials teaching you, like, how to do weird things like that. Let's go into the hardest mission of the game. Actually, it's just kind of... we haven't done that much video yet. I can probably show off Egypt and then the special super mission at the end. Alright, this time I'll just try to play as fast as I can and do some of that strategy I was talking about earlier where you just keep digging downwards and hope that you can find a way to stay safe down there instead of trying to make sure you're perfectly safe before moving on each time. Those yellows should just match up. And those will match up, yep. When you've got a block shaking somewhere, and then another block matches up with it, it causes them both to... Let's see, I don't think it resets their timer, but it definitely resets their momentum, so it gives you just a little bit more time. Is there a good place I can show off what I mean by that? Let's see. I'm not sure. Oh, these can just match up with that. There we go. Oh, that yellow is fine. Luckily there was a yellow right next to me. Or not right next to me, but a little bit above me that caught the one that was falling on me. Oh. Phew. That could have gotten weird, that when I grabbed that air canister there. If you can't quite remember the situation, then go back and look at it. But basically, the air canister can hold up blocks above it. Like that one there is doing it right now. But if you grab an air canister while it's falling, and then another block kind of falls immediately afterwards, that block will crush you. Because it's like the air canister that would have held up the block that was about to crush you instead got picked up by you, so now there's nothing protecting you. So in situations like that, you have to be very careful to let it fall, then pick up the air canister, then let it fall again. Because if you pick up the air canister too early, then you won't get that second grace period that allows you to run away. I'll be able to show that off again, maybe a little bit more smoothly in a bit. I guess I'll just match these up. Yeah, there we go. This is kind of an annoying pattern. I need to get rid of that yellow block. That should... No, that doesn't do it. Okay, never mind. We have to... I really do want that air canister. It's worth a lot of points. Each successive air canister you pick up is worth another 100 points, and then the perfect air bonus at the end that you get for picking up every single one is worth about 50,000 or so. So if you want to get a high score, it's very important to keep picking up air canisters. Although I'm doing it slowly. There we go. The last air canister I picked up, or the second last at this point, it barely counted because I had to destroy a brown block for it. So now I'm kind of one air canister down, and I've been playing a little bit more slowly recently. So my air is actually starting to get real all of a sudden. I think I'm just barely going positive though, so as long as I keep playing this well, then I'll probably be able to get back up to 100 air eventually. That star block down there kind of... Ah, I thought I had just barely enough time to climb up that. That's really annoying. But yeah, the star block kind of forced me to go into a plan B instead of what I was originally going to do with those brown blocks. Maybe I'm playing a little bit too safe. Like, I'm watching all these blocks fall instead of, like, getting in there and doing it myself. And now that I've picked up this air canister, it was only barely in time to get me back to 100. Oh, yeah, let's not. All those yellow blocks being connected was kind of annoying. Makes it a little bit harder to get in there. An important thing to know about the way blocks fall is if you dig out a block and then another block above it cascades downwards, you get that little grace wiggle there, where you get a little bit of time to react to what you just did. But when it's a combo like this, see how these blocks, like, these blocks are matching together and then disappearing like a puzzle game. That has no grace wiggle period, so you actually need to react extremely quickly whenever a combo happens like that. Levels like this with multiple colors... actually, we're already done. I was hoping I could show off something. The thing I could have shown off if I had a little bit more presence of mind at the start of the stage, and we might get a chance to show it off again, because the India... Wait, this is the Egypt mission. What am I saying? The Egypt mission is very long. It might have another 2-color level somewhere in it. But anyway, what I was going to say was, when blocks match up and disappear on their own, because they match with 4 or more, if you try to dig through the blocks, like, oh, I was gonna get rid of those anyway, I'll just try to dig through them, then nothing will happen, because they're already halfway through disappearing. This is actually a little bit slower than digging through them yourself. Especially if they're comboing together in a very large pattern that keeps having more added to it. The animation will keep kind of cancelling itself as more blocks get added, so it happens a lot on 2-color levels. But the problem with this is, if you're sitting there trying to dig a block and going, oh, I really hope I can get through this block quickly because I'm about to be crushed, and it keeps having the animation reset by the combo that's happening on top of it, you can easily get into the point where it's like, oh, well, I tried to dig through it, but it wouldn't let me, and now I'm just dead. It happens more often on levels with less colors, though, so it's not really something I'm trying to pay attention to in a 4-color level like this. This level's only 3 colors, maybe we'll see it here. Oh goodness. It sort of happened on my left there. I was about to dig through some blocks on the left when all of a sudden a combo got rid of them. Destroying this yellow is gonna break hell. Yeah, sure. I'll just go over here while whatever happens. Oh, okay, it wasn't actually that bad. I still can't get to it, though. That air canister up there. Ah, I should have done that faster. I hesitated because I didn't want to do something so greedy, but it was the only way to do it. That would have been fine if I just did it a little bit faster. It was the correct move. Sometimes I'll wait just a little bit before digging something, like I did just 5 seconds ago now. Because if something's about to fall on top of the thing that I'm about to dig, then I'll want to leave it there for a bit so it can catch that falling block. And that way I get just a little bit more time to think. Oh, okay, I thought those yellows might crush me, but they actually just got caught. It was fine. Like there. I was a little bit too eager to dig out on my left there, so the blocks ended up falling a little bit faster than I was expecting. But I still had enough time to get out of the way, I just had to speed up. God, we're only just barely past the halfway point. The animations are about as fast as the fastest they ever got in the America mission. And we've still got quite a few levels to go. Nope. I didn't quite get out of the way in time, so Anna did that little barely dodge animation. That's what happens if you're about halfway out of the block before it crushes you. There's no penalty to it aside from the fact that it locks you in place for half a second, so if you're really in peril and then that animation happens, you might just get crushed by the second thing that's chasing you. I should have just climbed that block instead of drilling it. It's much faster to climb than it is to wait for an air canister to fall like that. How am I going to get that safely? Just like this, I guess. Ah, here we go. Maybe I can show off that thing I was talking about. So like, let's see. Are these blues I'm on? Ah, I didn't quite have the chance to show it off. But yeah, you can see I just did some digging animations on the red I was falling on, and then the blues after that. But because they were already going away, my digging animation didn't do anything. And the digging animation is quite quick. So usually when you're holding down and digging, you're expecting to fall basically immediately. But the animation for things disappearing because they're part of a combo is a fair bit slower, so it can really mess with you if you're not expecting it. The other thing that can mess with you is, like I said earlier, when something disappears because of a combo, the things on top of it fall immediately instead of giving you the grace period. So that's another important thing that you need to be paying attention to when a combo interrupts your dig like that. Because like if you're trying to dig upwards, but then all of a sudden the thing that you're digging upwards actually goes away because of a combo instead, then it's like, well, instead of that being a safe move, it's suddenly become an extremely unsafe move, so you better have a really good plan B in the next half second. And with all these star blocks that are now appearing, combo cascades are going to become a lot more common. Nope. I mean, I could have just climbed that, but the fact that it suddenly disappeared underneath my feet. There wasn't exactly a lot on top of it to make it dangerous, but it was still like a weird and unexpected thing, so I ran away. Because of the wiggle time, what you can do is, when the blocks above you are wiggling, you can dig to your side and run into that column, and then dig above yourself to start those blocks in wiggle time. And then that'll usually give you enough of a safe time where you can just run back into the original column once those blocks are done falling. Let's see if I can show off what I mean here. There's a lot of star blocks that are causing a lot of random cascades, so it's hard to find a safe opportunity to show off these techniques that I'm talking about. Something like this. So the red blocks are about to kill me. Oh wait, no, I did both of them at once. That's not... Also, my air time is quite fast. When the animations speed up, the air timer also speeds up because the game expects you to be descending faster. Maybe late game in the Egypt mission is not the best time to try and show off what I'm talking about. Yeah, look at all those star blocks. We're getting these giant holes that I'm not causing, and it's making everything quite improvisation heavy. I would really like to get that air canister dropping. I'll get this one first so I don't suffocate in the meantime. But there's still an air canister somewhere above me if I can just cause a large enough cascade to bring it back down. That's a good start, but it's going to have to come down pretty quick if I want to live. I'm not allowed to dig through that or I'll die even faster. That death will actually cause it to drop? Yes. When you die, the 3 columns surrounding you are cleared out entirely above you. And if you're close enough to the air canister, it'll remember that it's supposed to be up there somewhere. So I believe I've still got perfect air, even though I've died a couple of times. In fact, it was that one death that caused me to keep having perfect air. Oh goodness, that was close. Even though I've picked up the extra life from halfway through the level, I believe you always get it. It's not like a random thing. Anyway, even though I've got all 4 lives out of this level, I've used 3 of them, so hopefully I can just barely do this last level. Oh. Oh my goodness. Yeah, kind of like that. That's what I was talking about earlier, where you just keep going left and right. One column's unsafe, so you get the wiggle time in the other column. Then that column's unsafe, so you run back into the original one. You can go back and forth quite a fair bit in situations like that. It doesn't always work, though. You have to use your better judgment. Oh goodness, that... Whew, that was close. Unfortunately, I had to wait a long time, so now I've barely got enough air. I want perfect air. It's not a real run unless it's perfect air. If all I wanted was the victory, I would just be digging straight down right now instead of trying to... Ah, no! Ah, that final air canister and the 10,000 foot marker. Oh, brutal. Do better, idiot. Drill harder next time. Well, you know what to do when you just barely fail the hard stage. You go straight into the very hard stage. Alright, this will be the last run of the day. Hopefully I don't actually win it, because it will take 20 minutes to do so. Well, not quite 20, maybe more like 10 to 15. The video is already getting the tiniest bit long. There's only 1 air canister in the first couple of levels in the north. So it's mainly just a race to get down to the bottom. The animations are already quite quick as well. So the idea is that the game is just testing, can you play this game super fast, because if you can't, you're gonna suffocate. And then once you get here with barely any air, then it starts giving you a lot more... Oh goodness, that was a weird move. So you can kind of restock up before the actual hard part. It's kind of a classic game design technique for like your extremely difficult post-game missions in arcade games or other fast-thinking games. Of like, okay, first we have the big warning sign. The, hey buddy, this level is going to be extremely hard and extremely fast right out the bat. And then if you can keep up with that, then you earn the right to actually play the real part of the level. How am I going to get that? Actually, I want to cause the cascade on this side. Yeah, because that'll make the blues match up. Okay, I believe that's the only gimme level they give you. Now we're going to go back to a regular amount of air canisters with a regular amount of annoying blocks surrounding them. Actually, no, there's still quite a few. Maybe it's the next level. I can't remember exactly how the North mission goes. I just remembered the first two levels quite well because it took me a while before I could play this game confidently enough where I was consistently getting through it fast enough to not suffocate. I need to cause those 4 blocks to match up, and then slowly dig out the leftmost column so I have enough time to grab them without getting crushed. Ah, damn it. That star block underneath me made me drop at a weird time. How am I gonna get that one? I'll just get them both at the same time like this. This level seems to be spawning, yeah, these giant blue blocks every now and again. It's making the level very interdependent, where like one move on one random side of the map might just randomly clear out a giant blue block. You can be digging out the left side, expecting the right to be safe, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, that side's not safe either now. This column here is my safe column, but I did do a quick dip into the middle one to grab that air canister. Okay, I think we're good. I went around the right there just in case the left side still had a little bit of cascading stuff over it. It didn't seem like it, but it's better to be safe than sorry. That was close. I thought I obviously had enough time to get down to the point where the brown blocks would match up like that. But maybe it was actually way closer than my brain told me. I haven't missed an air canister, right? I think that level just doesn't have a lot of them. Oh! Ah! I don't know what I did there. Or rather, I do know what I did, but I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. Well, we managed to get a third of the way, and we've only died once. It's a shame that the game gets harder as you go on, otherwise that would sound very sustainable. Like, I don't believe I died until about the halfway point in Egypt. But I still managed to find a way to lose 3 more lives before the game was over. Although that one was very much because I was going for perfect air. I think if I get close to the end of this one, I'll give up on the perfect air bonus if I absolutely have to. It's just fun to get a high score sometimes, isn't it? More fun than living. What I need to do is I need to match these brown blocks up. Don't get too fancy with it, I guess. I believe you get the extra life just at a predetermined score. Actually, wait a second, isn't this game also made by Namco? In that case, it works the exact same way as Pac-Man Championship Edition 2. So I guess that's just what Namco likes to do. They like to make games where you get an extra life whenever you earn a lot of points. So even though it just, like, it looks like it randomly appears when you're digging around, it's not like being any more, thorough with your digging is going to make you find more extra lives. You only find 1 per game. And it always happens around the same spot as well. I didn't realize until just now that this is kind of a continuation of my, Namco week, I guess. Or heck, Namco Fortnite, this is the 3rd one. Alright, that's the halfway point, and we've only died once out of the 3 times we're allowed to die. So we're not doing too bad. Oh! Ah, darn. I digged the wrong way. I thought I had enough time to get back under the yellows and then dig upwards, but instead what happened was I bonked into them when I tried to move right, and then I digged up into the brown blocks, so I just looked like a doofus. Well, here's hoping that the third death happens 3/4 of the way in, and then the fourth death doesn't happen at all. Yeah. I'm down to 60 air. In situations like that, I probably need to just go for it instead of waiting. Yeah, I believe that stage only had one air canister in it. Ah, okay, yeah. You can see that what the very hard mission likes to do is just give you these random droughts of air. We're like, okay, this level only has one in it, so you better just go through it quickly. Then the next one has plenty to help you restock. This level has so many brown blocks. It also has a lot of air canisters though, so I can even just leave that one alone for a little later when I actually need it. While I'm trying to figure out how to get all these cascading. I had to go down a little further. There it is. How am I gonna dig out that? Okay, was there another one? Hello. Sorry to ruin the mood with my post-commentary here, but this is such an important moment that really highlights something I've been trying to talk about. And of course, the moment it actually happens, I don't even notice it, so here I am fixing that with the post-commentary. Do you see this little red block there? It's about to combine with all of these other red blocks, including the ones that I'm standing on, and it's all going to clear out as part of a combo. And as I've been trying to describe this entire time, a combo clear is slower than clearing with the drill, and if you try to clear with the drill while it's being cleared by a combo, it doesn't work. Like, you just can't overwrite that with the other. And that's going to cause me to stay in place just a little bit longer than I expect. Like, you'll see me try to drill through those red blocks and it won't work and I'll be stuck there. The one on top of it, I can't remember. Oh, no! I thought I couldn't get crushed there because I was just about to drop down, but it managed to find a way to get me. The way that it got you is the thing that you've been trying to say this entire time, you doofus. How did you not notice that? Well, this run doesn't look super promising. I don't remember a lot about the later levels of this mission, but I can tell you right now, when I get to about 9,000 feet, I normally like to have 3 lives there, not 1. The blocks underneath my feet keep comboing instead of letting me dig through them. Oh shit. Ah, darn. That was so bad. Oh well, I managed to make it a lot of the way. No, I can't bear to see Anna sad. Let's get off this screen so I can start talking. So that's Mr. Driller 2. As far as Mr. Driller games go, I think I'm alright at them. Like, again, this is a series that I don't hear a lot about outside of just playing it on my lonesome. I have managed to get... Actually, have I gotten the Driller badge on the very hardest stage? I think I have. Like, I used to play this game a lot, just dozens of runs every day. Well, maybe not quite that much. So I think I've gotten fairly good at it. This is my favorite one, I think. Actually, I don't think I've played that many. I've played Drill Land. That one's kind of fun, although it's a little bit more gimmicky than this. This one's just nice and simple. I never played the first, but I bet it doesn't even have a girl character in it, so I'm not sure why I would want to play that one when this one exists.
It's another peaceful day.
Oh, no one cares about the story. So that's about it. Let's see. New stuff Thursdays and Sundays. Not sure what the thing for Thursday is going to be, but it'll be something other than this. See you all next time.